If you've ever cried during a movie, a difficult conversation, or even while trying to explain how you feel, and then immediately thought, what is wrong with me? Like you should have been stronger. This video is for you because crying easily is often misunderstood. It gets labeled as being too sensitive, dramatic, or emotionally weak. But psychology and even science tells a very different story. Today, we're going to talk about what it actually means when someone cries easily and why it's not a flaw, a lack of control, or something you need to fix. Hey friend, welcome back to Professor Life's class. Now, let's dive right into today's topic. To begin with, crying is one of the most natural emotional responses humans have. Yet, many of us were taught to suppress it. We were told to hold it together, toughen up, or stop overreacting. Over time, that teaches people to associate emotional expression with failure. But crying easily isn't a flaw. It's information. So, let's break this down. Firstly, people who cry easily feel emotions more deeply. Psychologically, crying is linked to emotional sensitivity and responsiveness. People who cry easily don't just feel sadness more strongly. They also feel joy, connection, and other emotions more intensely. They don't skim the surface of experiences. They feel them fully. That depth can feel overwhelming in a world that moves fast, but it's also a strength. Secondly, crying helps regulate emotions. Crying isn't losing control. It's the body restoring balance. Research shows that crying can reduce stress hormones and release emotional tension. It's part of how the nervous system processes overload. People who cry easily often process emotions in real time instead of suppressing them until they explode later. Thirdly, high empathy is a major factor. Many people who cry easily are deeply empathetic. They don't just understand how others feel. They feel it with them. This makes them compassionate friends, attentive listeners, and emotionally present partners. But it also means they absorb more from their environment. Tears are sometimes the release valve. Fourthly, sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity often gets confused with fragility. But psychologically, sensitivity means awareness of emotion, tone, and nuance. It's a form of emotional intelligence. The issue isn't being sensitive. It's living in a world that doesn't always value it. Lastly, crying doesn't mean you can't handle life. Some of the most resilient people cry. Strength isn't emotional numbness. It's the ability to feel deeply and still move forward. Suppressing emotions doesn't make you stronger. It just postpones the cost. To conclude, I want you to know that if you cry easily, you're not broken. You're not weak, and you don't need to fix yourself. What you may need instead is better boundaries, rest, and self-compassion. The next time you feel tears coming, don't judge it. Ask what your emotions are trying to communicate. Because crying isn't a failure of strength. It's often a sign that you're deeply human. That's all for today. Feel free to share your thoughts or even questions in the comments. Bye for now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class.